For the first time in more than 20 years, Legacy of Kain fans finally got something new. A return to Nosgoth, familiar voices, familiar names, a chance, however small, that the series might find its way back into the spotlight. And for a lot of people, that alone was enough to spark a little hope. After 2 decades of silence, even a small project felt like a sign of life. But now that Ascendance is out, the reaction from the community has been overwhelming. Not divided, not mixed, just overwhelmingly disappointed. And I think it's worth slowing down for a moment to understand why. Because this isn't just about a game being bad, it's about what happens when a beloved series comes back in a way that doesn't feel like the world fans have carried with them for half their lives. Ascendance makes some very bold choices with the lore, and that's where most of the frustration begins. Characters are rewritten, motivations shift, entire pieces of history are reshaped around a new protagonist. Raziel suddenly has a sister. Key events that define the original games are reframed or overwritten. And for a series built on tight, deliberate storytelling, those changes don't just feel unexpected, they feel disconnected. Fans aren't angry because the story moved forward, they're upset because it moved sideways, into territory that doesn't feel earned or consistent with the world they know. And then there's Elilith, the new central character. She's powerful, almost endlessly so. She has no real weaknesses, no friction, no meaningful obstacles. In just a few hours, she becomes the most important figure in the entire timeline, overshadowing Raziel and Kain in ways that leave their arcs feeling diminished. It's not that fans object to new characters, it's that this one is placed at the centre of everything, without the depth or nuance that made the original cast so compelling. When a new character rewrites the past, the present and the future, it's hard not to feel like the heart of the series has been pushed aside. The writing itself hasn't helped. A lot of players have said the dialogue feels off, sometimes unnatural, sometimes strangely modern, sometimes like it was written by someone who doesn't fully understand the tone of Legacy of Kain. The philosophical weight, the layered conversations, the sense of ancient tragedy, it's all missing. And when the story is already controversial, weak writing only makes those changes feel sharper. Gameplay has been another sticking point. As fans, we were prepared for a smaller project, but even with expectations lowered, the experience feels clunky and shallow. Movement is stiff, parries are unreliable, enemies behave erratically, sometimes clipping through walls or spamming projectiles. Combat is simply basic, with no combos and very little flow. I've even seen some people have compared it to an early SNES title, but not in a nostalgic way. When you combine that with a runtime of just a few hours, it's easy to see why people feel like the game doesn't offer much beyond its cutscenes. The presentation hasn't even helped. The art direction jumps between pixel art, PS1 style 3D, static illustrations, and animated cutscenes. None of it feels cohesive, none of it feels like it belongs to the same world. And for a series known for its atmosphere, for its gothic identity, that inconsistency stands out immediately. Worse still, even the return of the original voice actors, something fans were excited about, hasn't landed the way people hoped. Michael Bell and Simon Templeman are icons, but time changes voices, and some performances feel strained or out of place. Kain himself appears for only a single level. Raziel feels underpowered, and the moments that should have been triumphant end up feeling strangely muted. All of this has created a very specific kind of disappointment. Not the loud, angry kind you see when a big AAA game stumbles, but something quieter and heavier. Fans didn't go into Ascendance expecting a masterpiece, they just wanted something that felt like Legacy of Kain, something that respected the world, even if it was small, something that understood why people still care about this series after all these years. Instead, we got a game that feels disconnected from the tone, the lore, and the identity of the franchise. And that's why the reaction has been so one-sided. Not because we are impossible to please, but because we've lived with this story for decades. We know its rhythms, its themes, its characters. And when something arrives that doesn't feel like it belongs, the disconnect is immediate. But I think it's important to say this too. The frustration comes from a place of love. People wanted this to be good. They wanted to celebrate a return to Nosgoth. They wanted to believe this could be the start of something bigger, and when that hope collapses, it hurts more than a simple bad game ever could. So the question now is simple. Where does the series go from here? Does Ascendance become a footnote, or does it close the door on future projects? And how do you revive a world as complex and beloved as Legacy of Kain without losing what made it special in the first place? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did Ascendance miss the mark for you? Or did you find something in it worth appreciating? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.